Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have this everyday makeup for pale skin. This is definitely more of a detailed tutorial. I talk through every step and application method techniques that I do. Although it's quite a simple look, I feel like I definitely do apply my makeup differently when I have pale skin. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this more detailed video. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe, and let's get into the makeup. Okay, so I'm starting off by using my L'Oreal Lumi Magique primer. When I have fair skin, I alternate from using my L'Oreal Magique and my Becca Backlight priming filter, but today I'm going to use this one. I really like to make sure that I have like glowy skin when I am fair. Like my skin is usually oily, but this primer is actually not too bad. You can see the glow in that primer. Now the foundation that I'm using is the Lancome Tint Idol Ultra, but this is in the shade 090, and I picked mine up from Ulta in the US. But I believe that they are coming out with new shades soon in Australia. This one, I know when I put it on, it might look like it's too light for me, but when I put it on my chest, it blends in perfectly. And it's just because I have some rosacea on my cheeks and my nose is quite red. It looks a little bit funny at first, but then when the makeup's finished, it looks perfect. I like to take this and just like splodge it all over my face, and then take my beauty blender and start blending. I usually do 2 layers of this because I do prefer a more full coverage, and I just want to cover that redness, and it can be hard to cover the redness when you are so fair. The foundations, even though they might be full coverage, when you're using a lighter foundation, of course it has less pigment to cover everything up than I would normally if I'm using a, more tanned color foundation, if you get what I mean. See how like my redness still sticks out? And a lot of my scarring as well on my, look around here. For some, 1 layer might do, but I like to do 2. And this one is quite long lasting as well, if you were wondering about that. I know it is quite pricey, but for me, I was just at the stage where no drugstore foundation would match my skin color when I am this fair. And even if it were close, it would just have a really rough finish to it. I just couldn't find one that would just seep into my skin and look really nice. So my friend Anna recommended this one. I'm just going to put a little bit more coverage on my cheeks and nose. I find one of the trickiest places is my nose when I am fair skinned. Like the foundation just never sits nice on there. And the way around that I found is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. If you have not tried this, I would highly recommend trying it. It is as amazing as everyone says it is. The coverage is great. It blends perfectly. It is truly amazing. Now I have the shade Light, and this one it's quite similar to my skin tone when I am fair. So it's not like a highlighting concealer for me. It's probably a little bit dark, to be honest, but I'm just going to pop some underneath my eyes, down my nose, on my chin. But I just like it for the coverage. And then even like on the tips of my cheeks there, because my cheeks are still showing through. I do like to go in with another concealer as well. This is the Maybelline Master Conceal in Fair. And this one, I just put like a little daub in places. And this one, they're kind of like different tones. And so I just put a little blob, and then I kind of blend them in together. And if I've got any scarring, I'll just try and pop it over that. I would definitely love to own Shape Tape in a light enough color, but for me, that just makes the nose look flawless. So I'm nearly disappearing into my background, I am aware. Pale girl problems. Now, there's one last step before I set my under eyes that I have to do. If I don't do it, I notice it. I use the NYX Dark Circle Corrector, and my packaging is a bit gone because I love it. It's just a little pot. Now I have the shade Fair, and this stuff, I use it every day. It is amazing. And as I said, like the other day I forgot to use it because I'm like, oh yeah, my dark circles are covered enough. No, they weren't. So I just like to take a little brush and really get in there. And it just has a slight peach tone to it that will counteract with the dark circles. I'm going to take some RCMA powder. And make sure you really stretch out that under eye area, because I have a few lines in there and you want to get in all the nooks and crannies so that it doesn't crease. So see how I've left powder? That's baking. So I like to leave it there and let it all soak in. So it soaks up the concealer and it just overall makes it flawless. So I just leave that there and then I kind of like blend it in to the rest of the area. Okay, so for the rest of my face, I like to take the Australis Fresh and Flawless Pressed Powder in light beige. This one suits me fine because as you can see, it looks quite yellow. I would say I have more so like, it's almost neutral, but it has a slight tinge of yellow undertone. Definitely not over the top yellow, but I feel like this powder works quite well with my undertone. That's the other thing about this foundation. It's quite a neutral undertone. Some foundations can just be too pink or too yellow, more so pink than anything. And not all of us have pink undertones. So I just take this big Eco Tools brush, and this is what I do on a regular basis anyway, with my powder. Just buff that into the skin, make sure everything's set really well. And then I'm gonna take a little brush and buff away the under eye baking. Okay, so before I move on to brows, I'm going to do one step, and that is use a setting spray. Now this one is Gerard Cosmetics Slay All Day Setting Spray. It is in Rose, and my good friend Nakia Joy created this. This is a collaboration for her, and I'm so proud of her. It smells amazing. I like to just spray that over my face and it will help the powder sink into my skin. Next, I'm going to move on to brows, and I'm taking my Benefit Car Brow in number 3. This is just literally what I do every day, so I'm probably going to skip over this. All I do is take a little brush, an eyebrow brush. This is a Garbo and Kelly one. So the difference, I do notice that, of course, my usual brow colors look so much darker when I am fair skinned. So if you want to use a lighter color, that's definitely something that I would recommend. But I do quite like bold brows. Onto the eyes, I use the Essence I Love Color Intensifying Eyeshadow Base. So I like this one because it's basically the same color as my skin when I am fair. I don't like this when I have tanned skin. I much prefer the other base. I just like to blend it out with my finger all the way to the brow. Now I have my Z palette of Makeup Geek shadows here. Now this is just kind of like my neutral palette. I'm going to take Babyface and just set the eye there. But you can take even like a face powder and set the eye base. This is a really important step that you want to make sure that you don't miss, because if you don't do it, your shadows might crease. And it also makes it easier for other shadows to blend in once you have set and got a nice base. So I just pop that all the way to my brow. So I like to take a tiny bit of Creme Brulee, and this is a warm toned crease transition color, and I just like to blend that ever so softly, like not too much at all, as the transition color there. So just a bit on the outer edge there up to the brow, and then a bit on this outer corner, outer V. So you'll see that that gives a slight definition. I only dip my brush in there once and then blend it and tap it off as well. So I'm not using too much product at all. So now I'm going to take the color Latte, and I'm just going to blend in that crease there. Remember to just take a little bit at a time, because if you take too much pigment, it can turn out a little bit messy and it's hard to fix it up. So just take a little bit at a time and just blend it in. I'm focusing more so like on this part here, the part where my brow goes up and kind of creates a little bit more of a cat eye look, and then softening it into the crease and outer V. If I'm feeling really lazy, I'll just straight away go in with Latte and just blend it out, but just yeah, I don't have that warm transition color, or I take a dirty brush and just go over that first, because usually my transition colors are warm, and so on my brushes I'll have warm colors already. So that's a little time-saving hack. Next up, I'm taking the color Taupe Notch. Now this one has a tiny bit of sheen to it. It's not too much that you would really notice, but I'm just taking like the tiniest little bit just to like deepen up this outer V, just ever so slightly. That's basically all I want to do, and just bring it onto the lid a little bit. Just focusing right there. And then I'm going to take my other brush and just blend it into the colors that we already have. So just see how it just ever so slightly just deepens that up. I guess this step like you don't have to do, but I like to do it just for a little bit more definition. On a pencil brush, I'm going to take Latte. Just apply it on the lower lash line, a bit more focus on the outer corner, and then take a tiny bit of Taupe Notch and focus that just on that outer part where the eye goes up from the center. Then I like to take the color Shimmer Shimmer and apply for my inner corner, highlight, and my brow bone there as well. Now for the lid, it's totally up to you what you want to do. You can leave it matte like this, or you can even apply some of that first shadow that we use, baby face one, just to brighten it up. Or you can use a shimmer, whether it be super pigmented or just a light wash of color. I've been going with just a light wash of shimmer, something like this in Cinderella. I don't like to make it super pigmented, but just like a little bit of shimmer on the lid. Like nothing too, like just like that. This shadow in particular isn't super pigmented, I've found. Even when I've tried to wet it and use it, like the shimmer isn't that great. So it's perfect for something like this where I just want something like really understated. To finish the eyeshadows, I'm moving on to eyeliner. I do really like this step where I apply a white eyeliner in my waterline. This is just the Essence White Kajal pencil, and I just like to put this in the waterline. Now this will take away some of the redness, because I do tend to notice I have quite a bit of redness when, especially in the morning. I'm applying my makeup at 8:30 in the morning right now. So that'll take away some of the redness and it'll just really brighten up your eyes. I wouldn't normally recommend a white, but because I am so fair skinned, it looks quite weird now, but when I've applied the rest of my makeup, it looks fine. So for the top lash line, I like to use a shadow, and I don't know how many people use this on a daily basis, but I love it. I like to use a flat shader brush, one with a really defined tip like this. It just makes it easier, but I guess you can also use an angled brush, like an eyeliner brush. I just like to close my eye. And all I'm doing is pressing the shadow into the lash line. I like this technique for a few reasons. It is super easy and you can rarely mess it up. So if you're in a rush, it's a great technique for eyeliner rather than using a pencil or a liquid liner unless you're a pro. But it's also quite a soft look as well, so not as harsh for everyday look. Of course, you can wing it out if you like, but I just like to follow my natural lash line on an everyday basis. You can also smoke it out a little bit if you like. So if you can see the difference in the definition between my eyes, I feel like it makes such a difference. Because my lashes are quite fair as well, it makes it easier when applying mascara so that I don't have to get mascara everywhere when I'm trying to get to the roots of the lashes. You can also pop a little bit just on that lash line on the bottom if you like. So you can see that that makes a difference as well. Now, time for mascara. I have been living for the Max Factor Masterpiece Glamour Extensions mascara. I use it all the time. I love that it has such a nice thin wand and I can get really close to my lash roots. So I like to go on top first of the lashes, just so I can try and get really, really close to the roots, and then go underneath and fan them out. I always apply mascara to my bottom lashes. Personally, most of the time I use two mascaras. I use this one first and then I use something just to thicken the lashes up. So I've got the L'Oreal Voluminous False Fiber Lashes. And I just go over the top, but do this like pretty soon after you've applied the first coat so that they're not all dry and crispy, because it works better when the lashes are dry. Hopefully you can see a difference between the two lashes, especially if I'm not wearing falsies. Like on an everyday basis, I don't wear falsies. So if you get some mascara anyway, just wait for it to dry and then just use a Q-tip to flake it off. So I've got some there, but I'm just gonna wait a little bit. For contouring and bronzing, when I have fair skin, I usually stick to the NYX blush in Taupe. Now this one is quite old and broken, but it does the job. I feel like that they have repackaged this formula, but it should be the same. It might be a little bit more pigmented, the new one. I use my NARS Ita brush and I just start on the cheekbone there. See how that's already given me some definition? And then I just work my way up. Focusing just like more so on the outer edge and then blending it in. So you can see that that's already given me some shape and color to my face, so I'm not blending in with the background so much. And then of course that jawline. So I like to draw the line and then just blend it down and a little bit in that part there. So there's a difference between contoured and not. I don't go over the top with this, especially every day. Like as you saw, that this doesn't actually take too long to do. And then I just blend it up there. So blend it up towards your cheeks and then it will blend in with your blush. And then the nose as well. Feel free if you want to use a smaller brush for your nose, but I just use the same brush because it's every day. I'm not like, you know, going out to an event or anything like that. So for blush, I like to use something that's, you know, not too bright and overpowering. I just use the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. I love, this is like my all-time favorite blush anyway. So I just like to take a little bit. Don't definitely like to take too much because it can escalate very quickly when you have fair skin and you can become a clown before you know it. So you want to take something that's not too bright and not too overpowering. And I like this one because it has a bit of a sheen to it. So it helps with the highlight as well. You know, highlighting those cheekbones. It also helps blend the contour in as well. Okay, so I have been obsessed with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit in Sun Dipped. It is just gorgeous. I like to take a mix of Summer and Moonstone. Summer is quite bright, but it is really yellow, especially on fair skin. It shows up even more so yellow. So I like to mix in a bit of Moonstone because that's a bit more pink toned. I'll show you what they each look like. So this one is Moonstone. I feel like it doesn't show up as well as it does when you are tanned. So that's why you need to mix in a little bit of Summer, which I'll do on this side. I just feel like it's a little bit yellow. So I'll put some Moonstone over the top. That'll brighten it up, and I'll put some Summer over here. And that, for me, actually that is looking a little bit too dark on this side. If you put on too much contour, just blend it out with a brush or even your powder brush as well, if you're a little bit worried about it. Just put a little bit too much on that side. And then I like to put some on my nose and down the center and also Cupid's bow. I just find that highlight, unless it's, you know, bright white, doesn't show up that well when I have fair skin. Lips. Now, this is one of the trickiest things, apart from the nose, lip colors, because any lip color that I can usually wear, it looks so dark on me when I have fair skin. The best tip that I can provide is get basically a concealer colored lipstick. I have these two. I have Inoxa in Nude, and the top is like a different color, but you'll see, that's like basically my skin tone. This one is the Maybelline Nudes range in Sultry Sand. So while you might never use these on a regular basis because of the color, they are so helpful when you have fair skin, and all you need to do is pop on your normal lipstick and then put some of this on top and it will lighten it into a really beautiful shade for you. I'm going to do that today. So I'm going to use the Kylie Jenner Charm lip pencil or lip liner. I just want a bit of definition around my lips, like around the edge. Okay, I'm going to use Please Me by MAC. What formula is this? Matte. That actually looks really nice. But I'll just show you the magic. I just feel like it turns it into a slightly more wearable color. I really love this combo, to be honest. I've not used it before, but I really love it. It's so pretty. And this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching a more detailed makeup tutorial. I know myself, I apply makeup differently when I have fair skin. So I hope you learned a new technique or application method of applying your makeup when you do have fair skin. For me, I know it's definitely not as easy when I am tanned to apply makeup, and even my product choice is definitely different. So don't forget to follow my social media links down below. Make sure you're subscribed and thumbs up this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day and I will see you soon. Bye.